Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on which part of the world you are at. Today is 30 degrees Celsius. It's a hot day here in Singapore. I'm melting, and it's a very interesting thing because just nice the topic that we're going to be going into is a hot topic, right? So what the heck are we talking about today? In case you don't know, okay, we are talking about sex and relationships. Now, so we're going to be talking about this. So fair warning, my friends, fair warning. We may be talking dirty. We may be, maybe, I don't know. So I was just saying one of the posts earlier, right? I need you to lower your expectations. Expect that we're going to be talking trash. We're going to be talking about stuff that's very basic, all right? So, but then again, some of this stuff, you know, we're looking at it from a different perspective. So us guys, we kind of think like we know it all about sex. How wrong we are, right? So we're going to be talking about this topic, but we're going to hear it from someone from the Fairer Sex, all right? So she's going to be sharing her perspectives about sex and relationships. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And enough, well, I just kind of need to introduce a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. So stick around because this topic is a hot one and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So stick around for and welcome to the Aspiring Everythinger.
Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Prettier from the minute that I met you.
So for my guest today, her name is Roxy, and she has a podcast. She's a podcaster titled Roxy's Got Moxie, dropping truth bombs with F-bombs. So with that being said, I'm going to bring her on to the show. Welcome to the show, Roxy. Woo! All right, hold on. So you're kind of muted. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Is your sound on? Oh dear.
Okay, sorry. There we go. Thank you for having me. And God, your energy is just so high right now.
Well, it's kind of what I need to do so so that people don't get bored because it's on the screen. We're not doing it. We're not doing it like face to face. We're doing it like on the screen. So I just kind of need to hype myself up a little bit. Plus, the music does help.
Yes, I love your music.
Thank you. So anyway, we are doing this live for the first time, and thank you first of all, Roxy, for coming on. And I know this is your first time, so I'm like your first time live. I know you've been doing your show, so you're very brave of you to come on live.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I'm doing this. Scary.
But it's good. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are watching, all right, if you're watching on your mobile, you're watching on your phone, please tap on the video itself, right? So that, this whole video comes up and you can interact with us, just leave a comment and then I'll just bring on your comments so you can join in the conversation together with us, with my lovely guest, Roxy over here. So she can actually see your comments as well. And we can just have a fun time talking together. All right. So with that being said, so Roxy, maybe we just go in real quick, all right? Because that's kind of style I like to go, right? So, some guys like to go fast, but anyway. So
I would not know.
Yeah, so I kind of have a lot of this. Okay, for people who are watching, that's what I'm saying. Lower your expectations. There's going to be a lot of puns, I guess I would say so. All right, so Roxy, so why did you start your podcast talking specifically about sex and relationships, though?
Because I'm not an expert of anything, I think. Hi,
Okay.
cool. Thank you for. Oh my God, I'm so shy. Hi, cool. Thank you for showing up. So I was specifically sex and relationship because that's what I can talk about because that's my experience and it's not anybody's experience and that's pretty much it.
Okay. So, but why did you intentionally wanted to do a podcast though? Because when talking about, when talking about sex and relationships, people could write, people could actually do some videos as you're doing right now. But why did you specifically want to go on a podcast?
Because I don't really want to be on camera like this. Hi, Joy.
Hello. Welcome to the show. All right.
That's one of my best friends. Okay.
She is. All right.
She is.
Okay. So for those, so that's why they're here to support you.
Yes, I know. I thought she was gonna be sleeping. I thought you were gonna be sleeping. Go back to sleep. She has a shift later.
Okay.
But thank you for showing up.
All right. Okay, so you were here simply because you started the show because you rather do without talking to people face to face, right? But I find there's a little bit of a dynamic over here with doing it live. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's very different.
All right. So when you're doing a show about talking about sex and relationships, because you're from the Philippines, right? So
Hmm.
your experience on that will come through. So it's a little bit of a cultural exposure for us as well. Hey Wayne, good to welcome. So Wayne is a regular watcher of my show. Thanks for coming onto the show.
So he's your fan.
Yeah, as a fan, and yeah. So we got a lot. We gotta keep the comments coming, guys. So the whole thing is more fun when there's more people in.
Yeah, ask questions. That would be fun.
That would definitely be fun. So, all right. So, you're doing it simply because that's something that you're familiar with, the
Hmm.
whole industry. So, maybe you can just share a little bit about your background, as to.
Industry, God, it's not. I'm not talking about an adult film or anything. Sorry, just wanted to clarify that. Okay, so I'm sorry, you were asking a question.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just asking about, in terms of your. Okay, so when you started talking about this sex and relationships, right? It is
Hmm.
something that you have. Have you gone through comparatively to the friends around you? Have you gone through a lot of relationships?
Yeah. Wait. Relationship. You gotta
Yeah.
define relationships.
Okay, so we're
Um.
talking, yeah, sex and relationships. So maybe you got to clear it for me because I'm the one asking you.
Okay. Okay. So if in terms of relationship, okay. So I date around. When I'm single, I date around. And I subscribe to casual sex, and I talk about that because not. Hi, Wayne. I'm good, thank you. Uh, uh, Sorry, got distracted. So yeah, so I subscribe to casual sex, and not everyone, culturally in the Philippines, not everyone talks about that. So I talk about that in my podcast,
Mm,
and it's kind of a taboo subject, and not everyone gets to ask how it's like to be in a casual sex relationship, what you do, what happens, stuff like that, how you get into
mm.
it. So that's pretty much what I talk about in the podcast. I also talk about relationships, not just romantic relationships, flings, and whatever's, but I also talk about family relationship, which I will talk about. But different types of relationships, like families, like your friends, uh, those things.
Okay, okay. So I think that ties in very nicely to one of the other questions we had, right? Is what makes your podcast different from just about any other that talks about sex and relationships. So because you subscribe to the casual sex that not a lot of people believe into. Why do you think so, though?
Okay, one question at a time. Why do I think? Um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The question, what makes my podcast different? I think because one, there's so many f bombs. I'm trying not to swear right now to keep it as clean as possible. But there's a lot of swearing, and pretty much I think the difference is I try to give like a lesson at the end of it, like something to think about. Like I don't prescribe things that you should do with your life, but if you're going to do something, make sure that you get into it with a full mind. You're very, very conscious of your decision and all that. So I think that's one of the things that are different, and I talk about it um, honestly, as honest as I can.
Mm.
uh yeah, so there.
All right. So okay, I think being honest, it's not an easy skill to have because I believe I believe even in all around the world, doesn't matter which part of the world you're at, we all kind of thought to be politically correct. We just
Ugh.
need to hide. We just show a facade to the world. We are this kind of person and whatever, but it's not so easy to come out and bear yourself to the world, showcasing all your flaws and all the experiences you've gone through. So I really applaud you for that.
Oh, thank you. It's not so much as brave as it is when I'm bored at home. It's MECQ. It's ECQ. The world is in lockdown, so might as well. It's pretty much as a creative outlet as well. The podcast, and I also do write it. So
Mm.
it's something that I really have. I do sit down, think about, I write it out, and then I record it. So
All right.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming ECQ is your lockdown in
Oh,
the term you guys
oh,
use
I'm
in Philippines,
sorry.
right?
Yeah, ECQ is enhanced community quarantine,
Ah.
where we're not supposed to go out and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. We call it here circuit breakers. I don't in Singapore. I don't know.
Really?
We call it a
Why?
circuit breaker
Why does
because
it sound so cool?
really it's cool because the guy who actually termed that phrase he has an engineering background, so that's why he called it a circuit breaker.
Whatever works, man. As long as we're all inside the house.
Exactly. So very cool, very cool. Okay, so all right. So for your podcast itself, right? So we will. I think soon we're gonna get into the main topic of this whole thing. But I'm just letting the people who are watching, or even for myself, right, to get a little bit more understanding. What else are you going to talk about on your podcast?
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Soon I'll be talking about families. And relationships with your family, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your extended families, your cousins, and all that stuff. And specifically, I will talk about. Are you familiar with the term OFWs? Like overseas
OFW, not
foreigner?
too sure.
Yeah. Okay, so overseas foreign workers.
Hmm.
It's a very cultural thing in the Philippines. A lot of people in the Philippines, they go abroad to work and to make sure that they have better salaries, they can provide for their families, and a lot of families experience this. And I'm going to talk about that, how that dynamic, how that situation brings in a different dynamic in the family, not just the core family, but also the extended family. So I'll be talking about that.
Okay, so those are actually some topics that are not so easy to talk about. I would say because it needs a little certain level of awareness about what's going on, and I think that also comes from being brave enough to talk about what you're already doing on your show. So,
Because some people are supposed, because sometimes you have to call people out so that they know that they're being shitty to you, or they're
mhm.
being a shitty person altogether. And yeah, that's why I want to talk about it.
Okay. So then in that case, I think we just kind of alluded a little bit into it, right? Because when we're talking a little with regards to talking about sex, sometimes I would say not even sometimes, we're talking about religion does come into play, right? And Philippines being a
Yes.
place where Catholics is the Catholicism is one of the biggest religions, right?
Yep.
In Philippines, right? So I
Hmm.
believe when it comes to casual sex, it will be certain quite taboo.
Yes, definitely. It is. I think the whole culture is, because the whole culture is more of a in that mindset. That's why we have a hard time talking about it, or we are discouraged from talking about it. That's why it's one of the purpose of the show. Even in 2020, some people can't even talk about sex and can't even talk about their desires and all that stuff.
Hmm. Okay, but in this case, do you think there's anything wrong though with with having religion in mind? Because religion is like in a way it really is just a way to guide someone, right?
Hmm.
But that can be okay. In that case, do you think that following a certain religion, depending on whichever it is, can be too restrictive?
Okay, so let me tell you a secret that everybody knows. When
Mhm.
we are under any religion, we pick and choose. Okay, the things that we follow in certain religions, many people pick and choose. So this is, for example, if you are under, I will not pick a religion, but there are religions where, okay, so you know what, in our religion premarital sex is also sin, but I think that's kind of okay, so I'm gonna do it. But the other things that are bad, that's really bad. So do you get what I'm saying? There's a distinction between, they differentiate what they can and cannot do. It's really up to the person if they want to follow their religion to the letter. That's their choice, and that's totally fine, and that's great. But there are those that do not, and that's also okay. But that it also brings into play how there's an internal struggle in what you really want to do, and what you're being told what you should and should not do. So there.
Okay. So, uh, because you mentioned something like that, right? Well, let me bring myself back on the screen. When I get my okay,
Where are you?
and here I am. Okay,
There we go.
okay. So, okay, because religion, I think I think you're very very respectful because there are people who have different religions, and we definitely got to respect that. Um, do you think someone who, let's say, is in a relationship, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I think quite a lot of religions actually aren't very pro premarital sex. I
Yeah.
think. I think. I mean,
I
I'm
think.
not
I
an
mean, me too. I think.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
So
go on.
why do you think in that case, right, that plays such a big part to, you know, for someone who has premarital sex and someone who doesn't, but both having the same religion? I know it's kind of a complex question. Like for example, person A is religious, and but
Yes.
has some experience in that area. Person
Mm-hmm.
B is not religious and has the
Yeah.
same amount of sex in that aspect. Okay, how
Right.
does that affect them in your opinion?
I think it really depends on if you think that it really is a sin. If you, it depends on if you really believe that it is a sin, then you will feel guilty, unless of course you're doing it, for example, to, I don't know, defy it, feel brave. I'm not sure. It really depends on why you're doing it. But if you really just like doing it, then, and you don't really care about the religion, even if you are religious, then it shouldn't really matter. Their experiences are still experiences. One should, when it comes to religion, I think that it's great that you have guidelines and you have like a moral compass. Guiding you, but it also is important that you experience things on your own. Like if this is something that you really want to do and you really want to experience it, then, and you're not hurting anyone, it's consensual. If we're talking about sex, if it's a consensual um, activity, then go for it. I think, and then afterwards, if you think about it, whether when we're talking about religion, if is that something that you want to do again, you don't want to do again, it's really just up to you to
Mm.
decide what you want to do with that.
Okay, so because you earlier mentioned that you subscribe to casual sex, right? So how
Hmm.
does that apply from your perspective if you are a believer in that religion?
I'm a non-practicing Catholic. So, non-practicing, because the very fact, I would like to mention I am a lesbian. So the very fact that I pretty much exist in my religion is already not acceptable. So I think so from there, and then we go beyond casual sex and all that stuff. So for me, I kind of forgot your question.
All right,
Sorry.
because you subscribe, as you mentioned, to the casual sex, and actually maybe I can just lead to another question though, since
Yeah,
no,
just
when it comes,
ask.
yeah, yeah, I think that's the fun part of doing this live, right? So because
I
you
know.
are, okay, you are a non-practicing Catholic, right?
Yep.
And you are but because of that, you feel that you are excluded from the religion simply because of your sexual preferences.
Ah. Well, yeah. I'm excluded. I'm already excluded in the community, I guess, but not really the religion itself. But I think my friends, my family, they're not being like that. I'm not being ostracized by my friends and family, just because of that. I think when it comes to religion, I think it's just something that you should experience. Faith should come from you. Faith should not be something that's told. And if you experience religion or God, um, you should really experience it like on a personal level, not just, not just um, okay, I'm this type I'm a Catholic. I'm a uh, whatever else. I think that experience should be, you should own that experience. Your faith in God, your what you do in your life, uh, because of your religion or because of what you believe in. I think you should own all of that.
Mm.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I think that's pretty cool as well. And I think one when it comes to religion, because I don't think religion was something that we're going to be talking into. But hey,
I know,
religion
right?
is
Why are you?
yeah, but religion is a relationship in a sense with you and a higher
Yeah,
power,
that's
right?
true. That's
That
true. Yes.
yeah. But I feel that when it comes to religion, a lot of people use that connection with their higher
Mm-hmm.
power and then the rules written in supposed rules written in that religion, right, to impose
Mm-hmm.
restrictions on another human being. when it
Yes.
comes to that. So it makes people feel very uncomfortable, right? So
Yes.
I don't believe any religion is one when you connect to a higher power. To me, I believe in God as well, as one that brings conviction and guilt, you know.
Ugh,
To,
yeah.
yeah. So I think in terms, but of course we want to make sure. There's a saying that I remember as a young believer. It's not that when we become a believer we are sinless, but we sin less, right? So we just
Mm-hmm.
kind of um, make sure that whatever that we do, we are okay with ourselves because we ourselves beat up ourselves over all the time, right? And
Yeah.
the last thing we want is something that's so intimate, something that's so precious to us, like sex, suddenly has its own rules and is imposed upon us that makes us feel very, very restrictive. Well, I'm just kind of talking a little bit, right? I know this is actually
Go.
yeah. So like when
No,
it
go
comes,
for it. Go for it.
so when it comes to the religion stuff like that, or relationships and sex and kind of stuff like that, I believe while you are free to express yourself another way,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel it's you should kind of bring someone to say someone's going to hell simply because they believe in something like that. I know that we're talking about since you're in Catholic, yeah, Catholic, and I'm a Christian, right? There's this common saying of like for
Mm-hmm.
example, gay folks, right? Sodom and
Yep.
Gomorrah, you're going to hell because you're gay, right?
Context. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not go there. That's. I think that the show is not long enough for that, and I have work later. No, but I think that you should experience things for yourself because at the end of the day, you live with yourself. You at the
Mm,
end of the day, you're going to sleep with yourself. It's your guilt. It's the thing that if you're going to restrict yourselves, whether it's because of religion or family obligations and all that, that's a choice that you make, and that's the life that you actually live. So you have to choose wisely, and yeah, it should be a choice wherein you are conscious that okay, so if it's okay, I'm a religious person, I will follow this to the letter, then that's totally fine, go for it, as long as you don't have regrets. But if you're saying, you know what, I do subscribe to this religion, but I really feel that being like this or doing this is not really a sin, and let's say it isn't, then you know it should be fine. There
mm.
shouldn't be something that it shouldn't be something that holds you back.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay, so thanks for sharing that. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are still watching, right? And I can see that like 12 of you, okay, who are still watching.
Wow,
Thank you so
there's
much.
12 people.
Yeah,
Hi, thank you for
thank you.
watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Ask
Yeah, so
questions.
yes, please ask questions. Join us on the show. Just tap on the video, leave your comments below so that we can actually have your questions come on live as well. Hey, Felicia, good to see you. Felicia is as well is a regular watching of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you saw her the last time, right?
Yes, she's your fan.
Yeah. So okay, so we have so if any of you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I think that makes it a little bit more fun to have
Mm-hmm.
all the interaction with different people. Okay,
That's
and
true.
that's true. And she says hi to you as well.
Hi,
Okay.
Felicia. Nice
All
seeing you.
right. Yeah. So now we have this other question I have over here, right? Okay. Since because religion is such a huge topic that I think we should just you're right. We should just not get too much into it because it's
Yep.
really supremely touchy over there. So this other question I have though is what do you think women look for in a relationship? You know.
What do women look for in a relationship? Wow. Okay, so let me, if I may, I will rephrase that question.
Sure.
Women. Wait, are you asking as a guy, asking a woman, asking what women like in relationship? Like,
Yeah. Why not?
yes, yeah.
Because
Okay,
when it comes
so
to guys, what do guys look for in a relationship? One word, right? May or may not be true, but generally speaking, yes, it's the same word, which is sex. Now, yeah. Go ahead.
okay, so allow me to rephrase that question. Women most of the time. Hey, Jonathan, thank you for watching. Women are most of the time very vocal about what they want in a relationship or what they look for in a relationship, and if they're not, they should be. So I think what I would like to rephrase that question is, what do you want, Asher, in a relationship? Because that's very, very important. We don't what you don't want to ask is, what does a woman want in a relationship, and then you're going to say, so let's say that the girl or says, "Oh, I want a serious relationship," and just because you want to have sex with her, you're like, "Okay, let's go into a serious relationship just so you can have sex with her," and then at the end of the day, you're like, that's not really what I want actually. So either I'm gonna cheat on her or break her heart. So you have to ask, what do you want in a relationship? Is the question. So Asher, if you're asking, what do you want? What do you want in a relationship? If it is it a casual sex, or is it more of a monogamous relationship, and it has to sync with the other person, um, instead of just asking women, what do you want in a relationship? I mean, everyone looks, if look for in a relationship, if it's a monogamous relationship, obviously no cheating and all that. So that's a very broad question.
Mhm.
But what do women looking for? So I think it's mostly ask yourself, what do you want in a relationship, and make sure that you're vocal about it, so that it's clear what you want, and there are boundaries and you respect that.
Okay,
That's
okay.
it.
All right, all right. So
Does that make sense? I don't know if I answered that correctly,
yeah,
but yeah.
you're just rephrasing in the way, and I think it's still accurate, right? Because actually, from what you're telling me already, right, I'm actually getting a clue as to what women look for in a relationship already, right? From what you're telling me,
Listen,
just yeah,
listen.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Being able to listen, I think, there's a difference between listening and just hearing, right? So
Yep.
and I think for a lot of guys, it's just we are just blind that way or deaf that way. When we a woman, at least this is my take, right? When it comes to women, it's like sometimes you got to listen to what's not being said more than what's being said.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. I'm not
yeah,
very good with that. I'm more of a, I subscribe to the, you have to tell me what you want or else I can't read your mind kind of stuff. So that's why I feel like women or men actually, even men rather, need to really. Ooh, what do guys like women in relationship? What does that mean?
I would
What
say
do
what I think
guys
probably
like
what
when?
do guys like women in a relationship? Okay, maybe perhaps what do guys look for in a relationship? With
Oh yeah, what do you guys look for in a relationship? Is it just sex or?
Well, sex is the main primary goal. I like to make a little bit of a joke, right? Sometimes I've read this one before, and it kind of stuck with me. Is that God gave men
Mm-hmm.
enough blood for only one head. So, so that's a very stupid
Okay.
joke. All right. So okay, maybe she clarified it. So what kind of guys like women in a relationship?
Hmm.
What kind of guys like women? I would say the direct answer would be a straight guy would like women in a relationship.
Or bisexual guys. Bisexual
Oh,
guys
bisexual.
exist. So
That's
yeah,
true.
that's
That's true.
that's that's good too. What kind of guys like women in a relationship? Nah, I don't know
Yeah.
how to answer
Maybe
that.
Felicia, you can actually ask your question. I mean, you can get specific. The fun thing over here is that overlap. We're talking about this
Yeah.
particular topic, right? So actually, if I were to answer that in my sense, what do guys look for in a relationship? I think sex and the basic attraction is phase one. I feel, because when it comes to we're talking about kind of relationships, the basic level, which is a visual, because guys are very visual creatures, very very visual
Mhm.
creatures, right? So we
Mhm.
kind of look for the appearance, whether we gel with, whether that's what we like, and then once we go past that level, we look into other stuff, right? So is that I think intimacy is something that all, regardless of male or female, guys or girls, we're looking at, right? So that is what we're looking at at a deeper level after attraction. But for guys, I think it's mostly attraction. Now, maybe that question as well. Do you think for you, Roxy, does
Mm.
appearance matter that much to you?
No. Okay, let me clarify that. It doesn't matter to me okay, it's like this. You have to look at it as you have a certain type. Now, what my type is, what I find cute may not be cute for the general public or to other people, to certain people. So does appearance matter to me? Yes. I mean, I would want someone who takes a bath and regularly brushes their teeth, basic hygiene. But appearance matter when, for me, that's it. But it should only matter to you.
Okay,
The
so quick
appearance should
question.
only matter to you. Yeah, go.
So in your opinion, right, who is the most good-looking guy or girl?
Wow, are we talking about celebrities?
Yeah.
Okay, good-looking woman. In the Philippines, Liza Soberano comes to mind because she's so gorgeous. You should look her up. She's so pretty. And then guy, Aquaman.
Ah.
Jason Momoa. Oh my God, my lesbian heart is just whenever whenever he's on screen, I'm like, I'm not sure now. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, he's really good looking. Whoever
Okay.
is cute to Roxy is never cute to any. I'm talking about Milo. What? She's crazy. Please ignore her. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Thanks for your comment, Arlene. So, okay, and well, cute is quite subjective. But anyway,
Yes,
so
very subjective. It is
so-
subjective. So yeah.
let's say Jason Momoa, right? He's your kind
Yeah.
of guy. Okay, let's say he comes
Mhm.
to you one day.
Yeah.
But he hits everything. But let's say it's not Jason Momoa. It's just a guy that looks a lot like Jason Momoa. Let's say his name is
Brock
Ma-
O'Hearn looks a lot like Jason Momoa, and he's also very, very good looking.
Okay. All right. So let's say this guy who looks like him. Okay. Let's say it's not Jason Momoa. Let's say it's Mason Jamoa. Okay. There's some guy who looks like him, but is completely different in personality. Completely different in personality.
Mm-hmm.
Versus another guy that comes along who is not as good looking, but his personality is very amicable, I would say. Who would you choose?
Are you really asking me that? Or okay, first and foremost, I wouldn't choose a guy because I'm gay. But
Okay. I'm just using that aspect, but let's say
no, it's okay,
a female.
it's okay.
A female aspect.
Allow me to.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fine. I think that it depends on what you want the guy for.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a good question. How important is foreplay? Depends on who you're having sex with. Sometimes they don't like foreplay and they just go for it. Going back to the question, does appearance matter? I think it depends on, in your context, in the question that you ask. I think it depends on what you want the guy for or the girl for. If you just want the guy or the girl for sex, I mean, it does help that she's damn hot. But if it's something that's more serious, if you're more compatible with someone who's less generically attractive than the other guy, then go for that. In the end, when it's a relationship, it's not necessarily just the appearance that we're looking at. It's the values. It's a lot of things. If you can live with this person, but don't get someone wherein you wake up one morning and you're like, whoa, oh wait, yeah, you're my boyfriend. You're good. Like, who the? Okay, right,
Yeah.
you are okay. God, you've been my girlfriend or my boyfriend for like 2 years, and I'm still surprised when I wake up because you look like that in the morning. So we don't want that.
So Felicia asked, does
Ooh.
matter do appearance matters in guys who like different women?
Yeah. Well, I think so. I feel
think
like
so.
yeah, you're very visual people. But again, appearance is very subjective.
True. And of course, now we have Jonathan. What's the definition
What
of
is the definition of
masculinity in the current
age?
Wow. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
Alright, so-
It's masculinity. Pass. Pass. Can I say pass?
Yes,
Pass.
you can. She passed. Okay, she passed. Maybe there's a question that I can answer, but hey, when it comes to
Go for it.
well, okay, I
Fast.
wouldn't know because like masculinity, if you're just looking in terms of just basic sex and relationships, well, I know everybody wants a very I think for a guy to say as a guy, I think his amount of muscles the guy has is quite impressive, and the body shape that's quite impressive to see as well. Because I'm a guy, but I would freely admit if I see another dude, that guy's good looking. I would freely admit that. So it's the yummies, dude. Yumminess.
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 Yep.
Yumminess. Yummy mess, right? So it's like it's a whole mess.
Oh God,
of
it's
yum.
yummy, but it's a mess.
It's
It's
a
a
mess.
whole mess.
It's
Yeah.
a good thing. It's a good thing.
Sometimes it's a bad thing because sometimes yummy people are a mess. Like they are. Sometimes. Okay.
Okay. Do you think that actually happens is because they kind of they know they look yummy, they know they're attractive to the opposite sex, so they make full use of it. That's why they become so messy.
Well, yes, sometimes they do, but
Mhm.
don't get me started. There are ugly people out there who are a mess too, and they use their full ugliness to mess with people. And sometimes, yeah, so that's messier, I guess.
How does that happen actually? Maybe you can just share a bit of
Because
experience on that.
I feel like, so you know how, okay, this is kind of mean, but you know how you see in public, there's this really gorgeous girl or a really gorgeous girl, and then there's this ugly guy, a but ugly guy beside her, and you're like thinking, what is their relationship? And then they kiss, and you know that they're together, and you're like, what did the girl see in him? And then you'd
Mhm.
find out that, I don't know, sometimes they're your friends or something, and you find out that this guy is cheating on the really pretty, very nice girl. So, it's not about the looks. When you are a cheater, if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat, whether or not you're ugly
Mm.
or good looking.
That's true. That's true. So there's a question that actually I have, but I'll ask that for later. So now there's another question I have over here, though. Guys, keep your questions coming. It's actually quite fun for us, actually. Good
Yes,
stuff that you can actually use on your own show as well, right? You think?
I could. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
good. Yeah. So this question over here: do you think sex can ruin relationships? Quite an interesting
Eh,
question.
Anything can ruin relationships, but if you let it ruin relationships, but can sex ruin relationship in what regard? Like, can bad sex ruin relationship? Like, if
Yeah,
you're having
maybe.
bad sex with this, could be, yes. If you're
Mm-hmm.
having sex with someone who is not in your relationship, definitely would ruin that. But I think it's sex should be a part of a relationship and should not be
Okay.
the end all and be all of relationships.
Right, right. So let's say you actually found this other girl that you're very into, and then you guys
Hmm.
have a night out. So, and then you find that that experience was not good at all. Is that going to weigh heavily on the relationship?
Yes. Hmm.
Mm,
Yep, definitely. Because, before you buy a car, you got to do a test run. And if you're not compatible in that regard, if that car does not work well with you, you got to find another car, right? I think that's it.
okay, okay, and just write it out. So, okay.
Write it out once and you're done. Oh, okay.
Okay.
This does not work for me. Let's find another car.
All right, and change gears. Okay, so
Yes.
so guys, I like this question a lot. So okay, so when it comes to okay, so you would change your perspective of whether you want to carry on the relationship based on the other person's performance. You think now,
Yes.
if flip side, let's think about another way. If let's say someone thinks that you are not good in that particular aspect, how would that make you feel?
Bad, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Very, very bad. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't
Mm,
matter if you're really awesome. Sex is also subjective. People forget that or don't know that one person who's really, really good in sex with you doesn't necessarily mean that they're good having sex with someone else. It doesn't translate to that. It's like it's meshing. You have to mesh well in bed,
mm,
because sometimes even if you're really great for like 20 other people, there's this one person who just, you're not, what they like is not what you like, and vice versa. So
mm.
I wouldn't feel super bad about it. Like, I'd be bummed about it, sure, because the person did not have a good experience, but it doesn't mean that you're bad at it,
Okay.
if that
Well, we
makes
have
sense.
great. We have two questions. So we've got one from Felicia. We got one from Charmaine. Thanks for coming on the show, Charmaine. But let me answer the question from Felicia first. So can guys have sex with women before marriage? I feel like the questions you're asking, Felicia, is for dudes.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, definitely, I think guys can. Okay, but the thing is, will some guys do it? All right, just because a guy can doesn't mean a guy will or should. I would say it's all a matter of choice, and I think that's something which Roxy has also mentioned earlier, right? The power of choice. All of us have the free choice, and we coming back a little bit about because we talked a little bit about religion earlier. That this question kind of related. It's
Mm-hmm.
because it's about the relationship, the religion, and before marriage, yes, I think a guy, you know, like I mean, what Roxy said earlier is interesting. When it comes to that, you got to test drive it before you go for the full on, right? So
Yep.
should guys, yeah, maybe, yeah. So maybe we can get to Shami's question, and Jonathan has one as well. So I'm going to ask Shami's one. So what are your thoughts on the proliferation of online dating, and how it's affected people's view of the relationship?
Wow.
Good question, Shami.
What are your thoughts on the? So let's go ahead and define what proliferation is, because that's like a okay. So my thoughts on online dating, and I think we have to kind of differentiate online dating as in dating, getting dates online, or dating online as in you're like a long distance relationship. Like if Asher and I are in a relationship and I'm in the Philippines, he's in Singapore, that's going to be a long distance relationship. Pretty much our relationship will be online, right? But if it's getting dates from dating apps, I'm all for it, because it's really hard to meet people, and sometimes it makes it you're somehow braver when you choose to go online. People are braver online, so I feel like, yeah, getting dates online. Okay, well, I think it has affected people's view on it, because they think that it's like a factory of it's kind of like a factory of dates, and people think it's easier. People think it's that because there's so much abundance of, I think there are people who think that there's so much abundance of people that are available for you to date. Sometimes they take advantage of it, or sometimes they, what do you call that? Sometimes they take it for granted, I guess. Yeah.
Very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, so that's a very good question. Thanks for Shami. Keep the questions coming. I love all the questions. And then I'll have Jonathan's question. How can one get their partner to loosen up instead of being shy all the time when it comes to sex? Bring out the animal.
I think you should, and I would assume that this is a person, a girl, but for whether girls or guys, you have to make a safe space for them. You have to make sure that you make them feel safe. You not just safe as in safe from, like, safe in a safe place, definitely, but safe as in that they are comfortable enough to tell you what they like, and you're not going to judge them for that. I think they will open up better.
That's a very good point. I like that answer, because it's not just the location, right? It's actually about the person as well, getting them comfortable with what they like.
Yes, because sometimes sometimes it's something that you don't. It's sometimes hard to talk about something you like, because you're afraid that the other person may not like it, may not be into it. So you have to make sure that they are okay, that they feel safe enough, that they will not be judged if they talk about what they like and what they don't like. And when they do tell you what they like, be perceptive, be nice about it. And if something that you don't like, then you have to be honest about that too. So
very true, very true. So when it comes to sexual preferences or during the activity, just be real, just be open,
Yeah, communication is part of it.
Definitely. Okay, so bring out the animal. So so I don't know what kind of animal you're talking about, man. So if, let's say you have if you happen to be like two tigers, they're gonna go wild, but you're imagine two tortoises. Oh my gosh. It's going to be really slow.
Yeah, so I guess whatever you bring out, whether animal or whatever animal you bring out, make sure that you're okay with that, because you might want to, you don't know, you're like thinking, oh, I want to do this, I want you to be a tiger, but then they're a turtle, so you're like, okay, that's not what I was going for, but hey, should be safe enough. Comfort levels, they should also feel comfortable about their sexuality and their bodies. That's also true.
Very true.
They should be. Hi, Chris.
Do you know Chris?
Yes.
Well, not okay, definitely. All right. So good question, good answer. Actually, good observation. I think being comfortable about the sexuality and the bodies, and I really agree with what you're saying, Roxy. That that I really like what you said earlier. Just being a safe place for them, not just a location as well, is for them to feel safe about what they actually like, and yeah, the amount of comfort levels, how comfortable they are with just being themselves, because it's just being so intimate, right? So some
Yes.
people, they just feel like they feel judged for what they like. So
Yes. So they have to be, yeah. So they have to feel safe and comfortable. Yeah, Chris is right about comfort levels. They have to feel comfortable about
mm.
themselves too.
Right. So because we're talking about this area, okay, guys, again, I love all the questions. Please keep your questions coming. I love it. So please, again, if you're liking this, whatever they're watching, please smash the like button, right? Smash it, and then just like give the love to her,
Cat.
right? A cat that smashes stuff. This is like the only reason I can actually probably use to show some love to people, right? So give Roxy some love, some support, to let her know that she's. In fact, this is the first time doing this, and I think Roxy, you're doing a fantastic job coming
Thank
on
you so
live.
much.
You're doing a very very good job. So
I'm
it's
nervous.
yeah, you're
I'm
doing it
so
very good. It
nervous.
doesn't look so bad actually. In fact, I think when the words you choose are very smart. You're very good with your words.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So then when I can't now this particular question I actually like, but before that, let's see. Joy. Joy's a question. I
I
want to
want to stay
stay.
for the rest of it, but I need
Ah,
to find something now. Oh,
thank
thank you
you.
so much. You're so nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joy. Yeah, please go ahead to work, and then
Good night.
yeah.
Sleep.
So
You can
yes,
watch it later.
definitely. So for the rest of us non-functioning adults,
That is true.
we will carry on with the show.
We will carry on.
We will carry on. All right. So this particular question I like, because I actually have heard some of your some of your podcasts already, and
Mm,
yeah, definitely, Roxy is definitely doing a fantastic job. Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right. Okay. So in your last podcast, someone wrote in, okay, about her being the mistress in a relationship. So when I heard that particular podcast, maybe you can just share a little bit more about that. So for those who haven't had the opportunity to listen to it, right, can you just share a little bit about what this is?
Yeah, so I talked about being a mistress or a third party in a relationship before, in my last podcast, and someone wrote in about their experience about being a mistress in the relationship, and my thoughts would be on the podcast, wherein if you choose to be someone else's second priority, whether you're a girl or not, um, it is it is difficult, definitely, but you have to make that decision knowing full well what you're getting into.
Hmm.
So that's my thoughts on it.
All
Thought
right.
rather.
Okay. So in that particular podcast, you maybe you can just, I'm not sure if you can say it. Maybe you could, based on memory. She mentioned about how she was being like a second priority. Maybe you can just expand into that. How that, what that person wrote. Can you call?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, because
How?
you're talking about being a second priority, and then
Yes.
she actually mentioned about some things which I thought was wow. It's I have not seen it that way. Maybe you can just expand upon that.
um what about that? hmm. She said that it's hard, and she also said that um you have to be she goes into a narrative wherein it started out as a good friendship, then they got together. He's in a marriage, he's in a loveless marriage, and they got together, and it made her feel so. For 5 years she was in this relationship, and at the end of it, she realized that, is this it? Is this what I want? Is this really what I want in a relationship? Is this what I deserve? And all that. And then once she realizes that, she ended the relationship, and they're still friends after that. And my thoughts on that was, it's great that you found someone that you love, and who loves you back, and it just so happens that it's a shitty kind of it's not a very ideal situation, but you have to also realize that are you really okay with this type of relationship? Because there may not be a forever in this type of relationship if that's what you're looking for. And that, but if that's what you want, like you just want to do that for ego, some people do that, and that's totally fine. Again, as long as you're into it and you're totally um, owning whatever it is that you're doing, and you know the consequences, and you're ready for it. Yeah.
Okay, so I recall that particular episode is quite interesting
Mhm.
because, when it comes to being a mistress, not that I have experience of being one, but when it comes to being a mistress, there is this idea that at least when I hear, at least the conception is that you are there to wreck the relationship.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
in in the one that you were talking about, she was not there to wreck the relationship.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're talking about mistresses or third parties in the relationship, usually you think that the third party is out there. Like there's like a villain out there is like doing this and just, ooh, I would wreck this relationship just because it's Tuesday. I don't know. But no, it's not like that. Relationships are complicated as it is, especially those things. And um when we think about the third party saying, "Oh, I'm going to steal," some people say, "Oh, there's you're stealing my love." I'm like, look, I don't think it's stealing. I think it's it is given to them freely. Okay, you talk to your partner about it. I think we always miss out on who is at fault. Is and usually it's the third party that we blame, but we should blame the person that is your partner, because they're the ones who cheated on you, not the third party. So refocus your energy and your wrath and all that. Maybe there's
Hmm.
something that you should talk about. It's not about, oh, you ruined the relationship. Nope, pretty sure there's already issues. So you have to address that,
Hmm.
instead of saying, oh, I will bury you because you're the third party, and I am, I have the right to do so. But no, you should really talk about the relationship. So you found out that someone is cheating, and what are you going to do about it?
Hmm.
Because as I said in the podcast, that it's what do you call that? That in the end, it was sorry. It was on the first one, not the one the mistress episode, but the one before that on the cheating one. I said that it is the accountability of the person who cheated. All that cheating, it's the accountability of the person who cheated. But whatever you do afterwards, that's on you. So
Hmm.
if you wanna ruin your life and just try to I don't know, do something to the third party, that's still on you. That's what you chose to do. Or if you want to move on from this, I think that's a better alternative.
Okay, so I think you shared a lot of very good experiences, and all this that you have. I think that one of the things that, at least the way I look at it, is with all the experiences and everything that you've seen, it just made you much more aware to become a better person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mm,
So you have to. So the podcast is pretty much talking about how you can um, think of situations differently than what is usually what we usually go for, like third parties. If there's a third party, it's a third party. It's the fault of the third party, not necessarily, because they're the ones, they weren't the ones who cheated on you. Stuff like that. So we have to think differently sometimes, and
mm.
like think through all of the things that we're going through.
All right. Okay.
That's it.
What one final question for you, Roxy? So let me
Sure.
just. Yeah, so this is my final question for you. 55 question session confession. All right, so pick a number from 1 to 55, and I got a list of questions, very safe questions that I can ask you. What do you go for it?
13. 1-3.
13. 13. Aha. Wow, this is an interesting question. Let me just put it up on the screen. It is, if you became a superhero, what would be the weakness your supervillain would use?
Why? But why would I say that? If you became a superhero, what would be the weakness your supervillain would use? I think they would use my secret identity, I guess, so that they can get to my family, my friends, my loved ones. They can, yeah. Or, ooh, a cat. If they use a cat, I'm like, whatever it is, just don't hurt the cat.
Okay. So don't threaten the cat. Okay. I thought they just like, you, Super Roxy, then they throw a cat at you, and then you disintegrate.
Yay! No. More like, I'll do anything, just don't hurt the cat. Something like that.
Okay. All right. So you kind of like identify a little bit with the Spider-Man kind of concept, right? You just protect the family and all. Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for your time, Roxy. I really appreciate it. So guys, if you have any more questions, now is the final time to ask. And otherwise, we'll be ending the show. But any thoughts before we end, Roxy?
Last thoughts would be, if you're getting into any kinds of relationships, or then make sure that you get into it with lots and lots of thought into it. And if you're in a toxic relationship, try to get out of it.
Well, that will be another topic for another time.
I know, right?
Wow.
I know. I'll talk about that in my show too. So next, I was just going to say that my next episode, which I hopefully comes out on Monday, is about how to cheat better.
Interesting topic. Okay,
Yes.
So guys, so for those of you who want to know more and want to connect with Roxy and to watch out her stuff, okay, you can actually head over to Instagram at Roxy's Got Moxie podcast, or if you want to follow her on Facebook or Twitter, for those of you who still use Twitter, you can go to Roxy's Got Moxie. So this is where you can go to find Roxy, to find out more about podcasts and just have a tune in and have a listen. All right. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Asher.
Thank you for coming.
This was fun. For
It was
my
fun
first time,
having you.
this was fun. Yes.
Okay, that's
You are
good.
great. You were great for my first time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, stay on the line, Roxy, and I'll chat with you in a while. All right.
Sure thing.
Say bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. And again, Roxy, if you want to connect with her, please follow her on Instagram and on Facebook, Twitter. This is the information you have over here. Roxy's Got Moxie podcast, or on Facebook and Twitter, it will be Roxy's Got Moxie. So head over there and check her out. Now, following next week, what's going to be happening next week, actually, is I'm going behind the scenes with me on Aspiring Everythinger. So next week is just going to be me, and me just talking about me. So it's gonna be me. All right, okay, this is a very old song. Okay, so that will be it for the show. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming, and thanks for watching. Hope you really enjoyed the show, just as I have enjoyed it and putting out for you. So till next time, we'll see you next time.
Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Pretty over from the minute that I met you.